Welcome, Simon.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
So the first thing, Simon, I would just love to dive into a little bit of detail about how you really got to where you are today, and specifically what drove you to want to write the book Strategy Sprints.
It's 21 years ago, I did fall in love with one specific big question. And the question that I was asked from Fortune 500 companies, and specifically their boards that would sit with me in a couple of days retreats, and they would say, Simon, we need a plan on how to win in the market, stay in the market, and stay 10 meters ahead of our competitor. Before we solve that, we don't get out of here. And if you need 3 more days, if you need 50 more people, just tell us, we're going to fly them in. And I was like, oh my God, that's how important this is for you guys? I absolutely did fall in love, because if you know, resources is, and people resources and attention resources is the scarce thing out there. And so I had this total commitment to this topic. How do we enter a market, stay in the market, crush it in the market? And I was like, wow, if this is so important to you guys, I am in. I am in. I will focus on this thing for the next decades. And for the next 21 years, I did nothing else. So I did fall in love with this topic. The topic evolved over 21 years. It became more digital. We added some nuances with blockchain and AI, etc. All of these things that came on top. But the evergreen thing is, how do I enter a market, stay in the market? And the building blocks are buyer psychology, understanding what the market is, what it needs. And then the agility on our side, how can we adapt quickly around it and serve mainly that? This is what I find fascinating. And I'm still doing that now with strategy sprints. And during the pandemic, I had time to write a book about it. So now it became the book Strategy Sprints. But it's just about what we're doing every week, coaching people on how to crush it in a market, stay in a market. And it's 12 chapters describing the experience of our clients.
So let's dive into that a bit. So what is the Strategy Sprints method?
You break down your work into 90 days. Those 90 days, why 90 days? Because it's small enough that you can focus on it. Think of, you are preparing for your first half marathon. 90 days is a very good time to train for that. You can tell all your friends, I'm doing that specific Boston half marathon, and you have enough time to train. So these are the principles of flow that Michael Csikszentmihalyi found out. Make it small enough that you can do it every day. Make it big enough that it excites you. So 90 days is small enough that everybody knows what's going on, but it's big enough that you can accomplish one big thing in 90 days. So those 90 days, the team is one person from sales, one from operation, one from marketing, plus the decider, which is usually CEO or owner of the company. And that is the sprint team. They pick 3 goals. And then we work in 12 weekly sprints towards those goals. So every 7 days, we will check in and say, okay, are the activities the right activities? Are we moving in the right direction at the right pace? What do we need to change? What did we learn this week? What did we fail at? So we are aiming for frequent failures so that we can invalidate assumptions. Oh, we thought if we do this, this happens, but it didn't. So we have to change our assumptions. 12 weeks, 12 sprints to achieve 3 goals. That's the strategy sprint.
So you're coming back together with your team and saying, okay, what worked and what didn't work. And it's kind of like what the modern term, I guess they call A/B testing a bit. Is that a bit what that is?
Yes, we A/B test everything. So in those 7 days, they can A/B test 7 LinkedIn posts, 7 X posts, 7 YouTube videos, 7 landing pages. So that's why in weekly sprints, we can find out if what we assume is actually what's going on out there or not. So
Mhm.
everything is an A/B test inside of a sprint. You're absolutely right. That's the core mechanism.
And then, and some of the things that I was talking about you here before the show is when we're thinking about selling our value proposition as far as our product to customers and having them understand that. And I also made the link, and as far as it was very important for us to sell that same proposition to our people, to ensure that they can connect the two, and then we're hiring the right people to reinforce that message overall. So when you are crafting these messages to really resonate with your audience, are you thinking about what the company is about, what we're trying to solve as in society overall? I mean, what are the main things that come into play when we're crafting these messages?
Yeah. So we really try not to craft any message, but to solve problems. So is the problem to solve that there is scarcity in compute, and that's why people need GPUs? All right, how can we come up with GPUs? Right, this is what NVIDIA is trying to solve, and everybody's looking at that. That was the hardware problem. The next one will be the software problem, which is starting, which to be the next race, right? Who's solving the software problem? The next one is water. We don't have enough water to drink. Well, we actually have water on the planet, but it's not desalinated. So the next problem will be desalination. How can we make water drinkable for everyone? We have to feed people. We have to educate people. Those are the big problems that we all, as a planet, need to solve, right? A company is a temporary way of solving those, of tackling those problems. So some of us are attacking the water problem, some are attacking the education problem, some are attacking the food problem. This is where a 90-day strategy sprint focuses on. And I hope it answers both questions. The first question is, who are we here to serve and what problem are we solving? That's the market question that I focus on. And then people like you, who are HR experts, they focus on the talent side and HR side. And here we have to look at, it's not about the message, because the message is what we want them to hear. But what they're actually looking at is, are these guys happy?
Yeah.
Do they find meaning in what they do? Do they laugh? Or are they continuously in planes, living a meaningless life because they're always in some Hiltons instead of with friends? And do they vibrate on a high vibration? Like, do you want to hang out with them? Are they leading meaningful conversations? Do you want your kids to hear what they're talking about? Would you like your daughters and sons to work there? Those are the things that people are observing from the outside. And so these are the things where I think we have to become also more aware of. And now I'm not an HR expert, so I focus on the activities regarding sales and marketing, because this is where I see them doing too many activities with very low ROI. And when you give to a team a ton of work with very low flow, with broken feedback loops, because if they don't get every 7 days some form of applause, some form of thank you, this helped me, please, more of this, then there is a flow element missing. And if you put away the flow element, they will burn out.
Yeah.
And burnout has, it looks like just people starting to smile less week by week. Then they just show up less in the office. If they have the chance to stay home, they stay home. Bye-bye. The Zoom meetings get more boring and boring by week. And when there is tasks to distribute, nobody goes, me, but it's, yeah, who's doing that? It's not my role. These are the symptoms that we look for. And if we see that, then we know, oh, these guys have too many activities on their plate. Let's help them cut those activities in half, find the 3 activities that actually matter, and move the needle forward, because otherwise they will burn out. If they burn out, talent will run away, or no new people will apply to work for them. They will be less attractive to work for.
So is that the next piece that you kind of focus on in the strategy sprints method? Is that first is you're looking at, okay, what are the 90-day goals and those sprints, and then you're putting them in a way where people are engaged, they're doing meaningful work, they're putting that out there. What are the other aspects that you have in the strategy sprints method?
What automatically happens in a 90-day sprint is that you prioritize. So what is actually important? And when you do that, you think buyers first, and then you think also the people you're here to serve internally, stakeholders, shareholders, and then you reduce the number of activities. So we use this square here, which is the focus card. In here, you have the 3 years goals, 1 year goal, 90 days activities, 3 metrics. So all the activities, which is super complex in an enterprise, in a team, will be on one page. So the first thing is simplification. One of the side effects of that simplification is now everybody knows who's doing what. When you have that, now you can start cutting up to 50% of all the activities that are not contributing to that 3 years vision, 1 year goals, 90 days activities. By doing that alone, you bring a wave of relief into the organization. Because now they can do in 20 hours what they were supposed to do in 40 hours. So the other time, they can either do more enjoyable stuff or add additional creative tasks on that. So that's the first effect. And how do we find the half? Which one is the half, right? So we map out with them their activities. You can look at the calendars, and then you see the activities of an organization. And now we double check. Are they contributing to these 3 things? Number 1, to increasing by 25% the price that they can charge for the same offer. For example, if Netflix increases by 25% their price tomorrow, will you guys cancel your subscription? I don't.
Big jump.
I will pay. I will pay. My 3 kids are using it. They are happy. It's $7.90 now. Would I pay $15? Of course. They are happy. And it's not harming them. So of course I would pay double. And so it's well positioned. Netflix is well positioned. They can increase price by 50% without losing clients. That's the positioning piece. So we have to work at the positioning piece. And if you get this positioning things right, in the book, I show 8 specific practices to increase your positioning. If you have a good positioning, you can increase by 25% your prices of your services or offer without losing your clients. So that's the first double check of the activities. Second double check of the activities is, are those activities contributing to higher win rates? You talk to 10 people, 5 become your clients. That's a 50% win rate. If we can increase that, you talk to the same 10 people, not doing additional lead generation or whatever big activities, just talking to the same 10 people. But instead of 5 committing to work with you, now 7 or 8 commit to. So that's increasing by 25% the win rate, second month of the sprint usually. Third month of the sprint, can we increase sales velocity by 25%? You have 2 chances at this. It doesn't work always in the first attempt. First attempt is at the beginning of the funnel. Can we reduce the time from awareness to closing? This can be done with video, voice, etc. You have to create 15 valuable moments of value. That's either insight or a problem solved on the other side. And you can with the new technologies. Sometimes we can't because it's complex B2B sales. There are 8 sides on that side and 9 people on the other side, and plus purchasing departments. So it becomes so complex from the number of people that need to be aligned that you never get it under 8 months. Okay, then we have to go to the other side of the funnel, which is your current clients, can you make them so happy they came for one thing, but they stay for something else?
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you an example. That's an expansion sell, upsell, cross sell. Let me give you an example. I signed up for an app because I have 3 kids and they love mountain biking, so we go mountain biking. I signed up. Sometimes they ask me, what's this mountain? I say, I have no idea. And so I pull my phone trying to find out what the mountain is, right? And so I say, okay, this mountain, this app can tell you, okay, download the app. So I downloaded the app. I forgot about it. It's midweek. I get an email from this app and it says, hey, Simon, do you want some ideas about what to do next week, next weekend? And I say, yeah, actually, I need those ideas. I never have time to plan the weekend, but I need to plan it. And I always fall into the weekend without a plan, and then I'm toast. So, yes, I want an idea. Click. It says, well, you like this mountain and that mountain. There is a mountain in between, and it has a lake. I say, oh yeah, I love lakes. Let's go there. Click. Now I signed up for just tell me what is this mountain. But they are smart. They're probably also using AI, and they are smart. They're saying, if he likes that mountain, maybe he likes that mountain. Really, really smart. And if you hit a busy dad that during the week doesn't have time to design the weekend, boom, you found an upsell. So that's the second attempt of increasing by 25% sales velocity. You can just use your current clients and think about what else do they need.
Mm-hmm. So
Those are the 3 things.
expanding the value proposition sounds, yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
And making them aware of it. I mean, I think that there's so many situations where whether it's customers or employees or whatever it may be. I mean, there's situations where we have a current value proposition, but they simply do not know about those options. And so what are the different ways that we can ensure that the customer knows these different options? I mean, you were just telling us a situation where they send a text or something like this, but let's say they come for one value proposition, and now you're trying to open up the world to them. What are the different ways to get the message out?
First, you do a quick buyer journey. So that's the blue one that I use. I use this thing here. It asks me from the outside, what frustrates the buyer right now? What else do they need? What's coming up for them? How can you help them be ready for what's coming? So in this case, if you are that mountain scanner app, you could go through your data and say, okay, how old are these people? And then you find out, okay, they're 40. 40. They might have a couple kids. So they might be mountain biking with kids. Let's test that assumption. You can write a blog post to your people and say, hey, how was your weekend? These are some ideas for the weekend. And then by the click rate, you know if they have kids. Now that you have validated, okay, they don't just have a mountain naming problem. They have also a weekend designing problem, an experience designing problem over the weekend. What if these people are busy? Let's assume they're busy because everybody's busy today. So let's assume they're busy during the week or they don't know how to design a great experience over the weekend. What if we send them experience ideas? And now you can test that quickly. It's an assumption. Maybe they don't care about it. Maybe they do. So you can write a 7 sentences email and test it. You send it to 1,000 people, and then you do an A/B. So A, you send this email about what else can you do the next weekend. B is where to find the next bike repair shop or another adjacent topic. And by doing that, you can quickly test this assumption. And if you do that for a couple of weeks, now you know a little bit the buyer's journey. You know, okay, who are these people? What is it that they need? And this is if you have a product, because when you have a product, you are not really immersed in the field. But if you have a service, you know exactly what they need. If you're a restaurant, a consultancy, a bookkeeping agency, you know exactly what they need. And so you are totally immersed. I can ask you, what else do they need? And you can tell me 3 things from the top of your head right now. They need also this, this, and this. And so you can pick one of those and say, okay, how do we extend this buyer's journey to be even more valuable for them? And in the book, we have the tools on how to map that buyer's journey. And they're also on our website, strategiestprints.com. People can download templates for the buyer's journey. You can put in a couple hours, you can map out a buyer's journey for your buyer. This is where I would start. And then validate your assumptions with emails and with directly talking to them.
So understanding the demographics of your people that you're trying to attract, and then also understanding their journey, the buyer journey, as you mentioned, and what that looks like for your organization. So I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Sumit. I mean, does that seem to resonate with you? I mean, there's so many parallels when we're looking at crafting this important messaging for our customers and employees overall. What are your thoughts?
It definitely does, Sam. In fact, the earlier part of what Simon was saying also kind of aligned with something I was reading earlier this week, which was around slow productivity by Cal Newport, and doing fewer things and doing them well, bringing in more focus. I think that that's a very, very strong message. And I think and I was taking notes when Simon was talking. I think the biggest takeaway was to make it small enough for it to be doable and making it large enough to be exciting. I think that's the core of what I'm taking away from this discussion. I think it kind of serves customers who are buying our product as well as talent we're trying to attract in that sense. So I think a lot of the messaging that Simon spoke of, it can, although these audiences are very diverse, it can align with both, with some modifications to the messaging. But I'd love to hear what Shar thinks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think messaging is so vital, and being clear and concise. But also, I really feel that as you talk, Simon, about being strategic, more strategic in your way of thinking, and having more of a strategic mindset, and then developing that communication and strategy skill in your employees and your leaders is going to be so vital. Because oftentimes we do so many things that are basically tactical, and we're so busy, but it's really not accomplishing the goal or achieving that triathlon or that mountain, as you talk about. And I think it is important to open up the calendars, as you say, to look at the amount of useless meetings or meetings that aren't really contributing to the organizational mission or vision, or what's going to help the company succeed, and having those honest, crucial conversations with our employees and say, what are we really focusing on this relative to our company goals? So I think that's important. But I do have another question for you, Simon. When you talk business to business, oftentimes in my experience, at least as I'm reaching out to other businesses to do marketing, I often find that each of us are so busy trying to sell each other our own products. And I've actually been going through this process for, because I've been trying to improve my business development strategy over the last month or so. And I found a lot of my activities that were very tactical and talking to maybe not the right audience hindered my success. So even though I was busy for weeks on end, meetings all day long, it wasn't really achieving my goal. So what do you think about that topic when we're trying to be more, our time? What do you think about that?
You're talking about something very important that I'm observing too. People pitching to each other in the first chance of talking to each other. They meet on LinkedIn, then they have a coffee call, and boom, 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 it's a pitch fest.
Yeah, pitch fest. I like that a lot.
and that's why then people say, "Oh, I hate networking," and stop doing it. Let me give you a great example. Sam and I, we are in a networking group, a WhatsApp group that we are running, which is around networking. And what I found there, a simple rule that I've installed there is, don't sell to each other, guys, sell through each other. So
that's good advice.
don't sell to me, sell through me. If you install that rule and we meet in a situation, but now I don't see you as a possible client, but I see you as a possible ally. What if we could be allies? So my first question naturally will be, hey, HR, what's your superpower? Who are your ideal clients? What is right now on your plate? What are you trying to solve? Maybe I can help. And by doing that, I will become empathetic. I will be listening, taking notes. I always write down when I meet somebody, what's their superpower and what are they trying to solve? Always. The reason is maybe tomorrow I can make an introduction because somebody else told me something that fits the puzzle. And so I have to say, oh my God, you two guys, you have to talk. You told me this. She told me that. You guys should meet. And so I make it a daily habit. I have 6 daily habits. And one of those is make 3 introductions before lunch. And so that's why I ask the superpower and who is your ideal client, because I will make those introductions. So I don't start by seeing you 3 guys and go, oh my God, what can I sell you guys? No, that's not how you sell. You sell by understanding who they are, what's their journey, what they need to accomplish. Then over the next week, I will help you accomplish those things. And then in a couple months, you guys will remember Simon. And then if then there is an opportunity to collaborate with Simon, you might be interested, but only if I have created enough value upfront. This is what the strategy sprints method is about. Really understand who are they here to serve, what are they doing, help them be successful, and then your success will be a downstream effect of that.
Well, I think that's fantastic. I'm writing that down. I think you're right. And I love the idea of 3 introductions by lunchtime. I think that's great. What comes to my mind, because I have a tendency to solve world hunger, because I have so many areas of that I focus on, is that it is important to know your superpower and really identify the gifts that you bring to other companies or other businesses, and not make it so broad that people say, well, I don't know exactly what Shar is doing. I want to focus on this. This is her area of expertise, because I've been on a lot of networking calls, and I do that. I'm looking for, what is your gift? What's your superpower? What do you bring to the table? And I have found some are all over the board. So I won't think of that person. No offense to some people I've talked to, but I won't think of that person as a potential recommendation.
Yes.
So do you prepare for those networking meetings? Go ahead.
Next super important thing that I'm also observing is you ask people, what's your superpower? Who's your ideal client? And then they confuse you. So what I'm doing whenever I meet people, I say, guys, create something like this. This is a 1-pager that tells everyone, left side, this is my ideal client. This is who I'm here to serve. In the middle, this is what I can do for them. Now they can become my ally, right? Because now, if they want, they can introduce me to those people over the next weeks. And on the right side, for people just listening, is who can be my ideal partner. So maybe they are the ideal partner. Maybe they know somebody who is my ideal partner. So create a 1-pager for it. And I'm a 1-pager guy. I create 1-pagers for everything. And I help my clients have a button where you push it and boom, there is the 1-pager in the moment when you need it. So instead of presenting, I never present anything, but I get asked questions. And if you ask me, Simon, who's your ideal client? I have a button for that, right? And if you ask me, oh, Simon, but can you give me an example from my industry? Have you ever worked with somebody in my size, my industry? I would say, well, what about Anthony? I think Anthony is in your size, in your industry. Or no, I think it's Chanel, right? Is she in your industry? Is she your size? So instead of presenting, have a conversation, and you have a one-pager for things that people ask you, and you're just prepared. You come to a conversation, but you come prepared.
I love that. That
Sorry,
is.
Go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to say, I love that. It's just so sharp having those one pagers come up, and it's being really relevant to the topic, and there's no delay, and you're just well prepared for that. Also, I mean, as you said, I mean, when you're making those introductions to others, and just having that clear page that shows up, it shows your the audience that you're looking for. I mean, it's a very concise and easy to remember. So I think that's an excellent tool. Thanks for bringing that up. I'd like to know the tool that you're using to bring that up so quickly. Is that just in Zoom, or what is that?
It's very simple software that's not even expensive, and I can help everyone build this if they want. Go to strategistprints.com, hop on a calendar with me. In an hour, we can build this for you. There are multiple inexpensive softwares that you can use, and then you click a button, and whatever you want pops up.
Nice. That's great. Well, perfect. I mean, and some of those other things I mentioned, like when you're really you're talking about those sprints and those 90-day sprints that we started out with. The one big piece is how do you keep your people motivated to do those sprints over and over again, because it seems when we talk about we're constantly in a sprint, it seems like that could lead to burnout and so forth. But how do you keep your people motivated and going forward with these campaigns?
Let's tackle the second question first. Is what burns you out? Is it a sprint or a marathon? If you have ever run a sprint doesn't burn you out. You feel great after a sprint. Yeah. A marathon burns you out. After a marathon, oh my God, I cannot eat enough. I cannot sleep enough after a marathon. 3 days, I'm sore. But after a sprint, I can do another sprint. After a sprint, we can go for lunch, for dinner. I'm at my best. I'm glowing, literally, and I'm happy, and I'm smiling after a sprint. So if you divide work in small chunks that are exciting enough and are intense enough, but they end on Friday, and then you can measure, then you can actually have a weekend. And the next sprint is on Monday, so you can enjoy your family, your friends, whatever you want to enjoy. But the first question was, how can you keep people motivated? And I like that you say keep people motivated, because one big mistake is to think that you have to motivate anybody. You don't have to motivate anybody. You are not a clown. You are not an entertainer. If you are a leader, if you're a manager, your job is not to motivate anybody. They are adults. They are motivated. Who is motivating you three guys to do this podcast? No one. Why? Because you're adults. You motivate yourself. But there are some things as a leader that we can do. And it's important to say that it's not your job to motivate, because otherwise the leaders burn out. They think they have to motivate everyone. Come on. I'm not motivating my children. I'm not motivating anybody. Everybody motivates themselves, okay? Everybody's on your journey. Enjoy your journey. Crush it. If I need help, I'm helping you. But I'm not motivating anyone on this planet. And so you do you, and I help you if you ask for help. Now, on the other side, can we demotivate people? Oh, yes. There are many things that we can do as a leader to demotivate. Our meetings, if they are boring, we're demotivating. Some meetings are even more than boring. They are unnecessary. That demotivates people. Our processes, if they are complicated, bureaucratic. I mean, HR processes, come on, they can be so complicated and irritating and demotivating if we design them that way. So we can do a lot to demotivate. We cannot do much to motivate. And if we understand flow, people, they come in motivated. They come into our organization for a reason. So we just have to keep not demotivating them. And how do you do that? By leaving them enough room to build what they want to build. When they come in, they have a plan. So let's listen to that plan. All right, tell me about your plan. What's your plan? How can I help you? Instead, we say, here is file 7FB. When it matches 7FC, you should do 7FE. That's demotivating people, right? So we say, okay, what's your plan? What are you here to contribute? That would be a better onboarding question, right? And then when they are rolling, you just ask them every 7 days, okay, are the activities that you're doing contributing to the 3 years goal, to the 1 year goal? No? Okay, what do we learn? What's your plan for next week? If we lead them this way, they have enough freedom, they have enough autonomy, but they have also some feedback loops, and people need feedback loops. If I'm doing something and for a month, I don't know if it's working out there, I get demotivated. If I do something and latest after 7 days, I have a feedback loop that's telling me, yeah, it's helping somebody or it's not helping somebody. Now I can keep my motivation up. You need that feedback loop. Imagine Angry Birds. You send the pig into those birds and it says 500 points. Now you send the next one, it says 700 points. What do you want to do next? Sending the next pig. And if you send that pig and it says, congratulations, in 3 weeks, you will get a CRM report telling you about your results. I'm not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm out. That's the rule of flow that Michael Csikszentmihalyi has found out in his academic work, and that we are operationalizing in the strategy sprints method.
So, as we come to a close here, Simon, what are the top 3 things that you would like our listeners to remember from this conversation?
Let's make it just one, so that's even easier. Do your buyer's journey. Think about who is your buyer, what is on their hearts and minds right now, and how can you be of service now, and what else do they need? If you need a little template to get smoother through this exercise, go to strategysprints.com, pick one of our tools so that you just put in half an hour, limit your time to half an hour, and try to learn one thing about your buyer. So that person out there that's in the end using your services or your products. Learn one thing about them, just put in half an hour, and maybe the next day you can reduce some activities from your plate that are not directly contributing there.
And finally, as we come to a close here, Simon, what are you most excited about in the year ahead? And do you have anything going on in your organization?
Our goal is to have fun, and we are on it. And what I'm excited about is that the book Strategy Sprints will come out in China this summer. And I've just been a couple times in China, so I don't know the land. I don't really know the culture. I'm so excited about this because there will be a new connection between China and us and China and the method. And I'm so curious to see how they use it. There must be something that they like about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have introduced it. So I'm curious to find out what is it that resonates on both sides. And I'm curious to find out what happens there.
That's exciting. Well, thanks, Simon, for joining us today and sharing your wisdom on strategy sprints. This was a fun conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
Good talk.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the People Strategy Forum. Thanks.